I'm Bruce Buffer, and I'm what they call the official voice of the UFC Octagon. I'm the announcer. I introduce all the fighters for 17 years now. It's not my first time in Cologne because I've traveled Germany quite extensively. I love Germany. My first time at the gamescom, conference or event, and it's amazing because I'm a gamer. I have been since the days of Pong and Space Invaders, and it's just gotten better and better. When I look at these games that EA introduced today, it's unbelievable where this industry has gone. Well, we had 2 shows here in Germany, and I understand we're going to be back in 2014. And basically what they should know, as much as they enjoy boxing, my brother is Michael Buffer, the famous announcer, Let's Get Ready to Rumble. I manage in his career, I'm his partner. And it's always great for him to come over here to Germany to introduce the boxing matches. What the fans have to look forward to is that aside from just boxing, the UFC fighters, they basically contain, and their abilities are every kind of fighting known to man. You have to know wrestling and boxing and kickboxing, karate, jiu-jitsu, everything that's possible to fight to survive in the octagon in which they fight. And the exciting thing is that we have German fighters like Dennis Siever, who's been fighting in the octagon, and just last week I read where they signed another very well-known martial artist, I forget his name, from Germany. So you'll have some of your local heroes to cheer for when we come here for the UFC. Well, I'm not just excited to be part of the UFC experience. I've been in a number of UFC video games. The most amazing thing to me is that finally we're with the greatest video game maker of all time, which is EA. So to be part of the EA family now is very exciting for me. I'm a teammate of EA, and I want to wear EA on my chest along with my UFC label. Well, I've been in martial arts since I was 12. I've studied a number of different styles. I fought as an amateur. I have a couple of black belts. And then when the UFC came on the scene, I realized, managing my brother's career, that I wanted to announce, but boxing was not an area I was going to go into. But I knew something would come along. And when the UFC came on the scene, I knew the Octagon was for me. And my book just got released. It's called It's Time, and it was released a couple months ago. And I tell the story of how I got the job in the UFC. Now it's lasted for 17 years. I've announced probably about 3,000 fights in the Octagon. I've seen everything you can possibly imagine. And it's my home, it's my office, it's where I work. I love it. Everything is going to extremes. In America, we found that the male demographic of 18 to 34 years old, that 76% of them are fans of the UFC. In America, we don't have a single sport that can claim that kind of statistic. In Germany, you'll find that when they start watching it, it's like skateboarding's gone extreme, motocross has gone extreme, surfing's gone extreme. Now fighting has gone extreme. And that's where the UFC comes in. You have the most elite fighting warriors in the world. These are some of the most amazing conditioned athletes in the world. And they're just phenomenal to watch. The skill factor they have to possess to survive a fight in the Octagon is just beyond most people's recognition. As a matter of fact, even comparing the way they train to the way boxers train, they have to train twice as much. Because not only do they need to know boxing, but they need to know how to wrestle and how to kickbox, along with their conditioning and their weightlifting and everything. These fighters will literally train for 7-8 hours a day for 8 weeks before a fight. 2 hours in the morning, break for eating. 2 hours, break for lunch. 2 hours, break for eating. Rest, 2 hours, dinner. Go to sleep, do the same thing again the next day. 6 days a week. They're unbelievable.
Thank you very much for the interview.